so it starts. So thank you so much for joining me today. I am here with Lisa Ireland from the Longevity Science Foundation. Lisa, why don't you tell me first what distinguishes Longevity Science Foundation from other companies in the longevity field?
So we are a US-based nonprofit. So we're a 501c3 organization. And our main goal is just to fund early stage research in the longevity science field. So we are not a startup company. We are not looking to bring in investors to turn around and do successful exits and to be acquired. We're really just holistically looking to bring people together in order to sponsor research and support research efforts that are early stage. So they're pre-seed before they, anybody's ready to get investors. We really need to get more money into that particular area because I think that's where so much potential and prospect is for the future of longevity science. So we're really focused on getting funds into the foundation and then turning around and getting those funds out to the researchers that need it.
Wow, that's so valuable, especially as a preclinical early stage. You need to know the support that the field is there behind you, that there is actually hope, and somebody believes in you, right? And believing is one thing, but then actually opportunities and funding from you, that must mean a lot to the companies.
Yeah, absolutely. So critically important because if we, one of the things that I say keeps me up at night is what if there's some researcher that's got the answer to so many great, cancer research or aging research that just can't get the funding. And so the research can't continue. What if the answer is sitting in that lab and we just weren't able to get it funded and we missed that opportunity? Sets us back years. So we need to make sure we're continuously getting money into the hands of the researchers that need it.
Exactly. So how do you actually learn about the companies that are early stage and preclinical? Do they reach out to you or do you do market analysis?
So they actually reach out to us. So the way that a traditional foundation would work here as a nonprofit is that we put out funding calls. So we have, a general idea. For example, the first funding call was in aging clocks. So, who's doing research in aging clocks? Send us your proposals. We have an amazing group that vets the early proposals because, everybody, if you're looking for money, sometimes you'll get proposals that aren't ready for funding yet. So we go through a really deep dive due diligence process and work through getting to a set of finalists. And then we've spent a lot of time, we've really invested in my time at the foundation of meeting with these funders and really getting to know them and getting to know the organizations because I want to be able to tell their story. I want to be able to take this research that they're doing and get it out of the lab and get it into life and get it out of the classroom and into the conversation, because a lot of times researchers get caught up in what I'll call the big words of their research, which is important, but we need to be able to tell their story to potential funders. So we're really building those relationships and in the same sense, building the reputation and trust that everyone has in our foundation since we're new. People need to get to know us, they need to trust us, and they need to get to know me as the leader of the organization so that, we can build those relationships and in turn, bring more money into this field. It's all about getting the most money we can into the organization and turn it back out and get it out into the people that need it.
Okay, so it kind of works in a symbiotic relationship, doesn't it? One supporting another. So
Yes.
Can you bring up any case studies of the early companies you founded?
So we haven't announced any of that yet since we're in the final stages of our first opportunities for funding. But in the past, we have obviously funded ARDD. We funded the Healthy Longevity Medicine Society. We've funded some work at Oxford with some educational conferences. I've done a ton of speaking engagements. I was invited to speak at the Library of Congress about the work that we're doing. So
Congratulations.
Thank you. It was fantastic. It was amazing, an amazing honor and an opportunity for the foundation. So all of those pieces really have helped us kind of build up to, what's going to be the first thing that rises to the top that we're going to fund. So, building the infrastructure as well is important. These organizations and these conferences bring together the best and the brightest minds, and we need to make sure that we're continuously supporting them, such as obviously the largest one, ARDD.
Oh, that was such a smooth transition. Thank you so much for that. And thank you for supporting ARDD and Healthy Longevity Medicine Society, which is co-founded by the chair of our longevity medicine track, Dr. Evelyn Bischoff. And as far as I know, Dr. Alex Javronkov, who is one of the founders of the conference, is also your scientific advisor. So the core of Longevity Science Foundation is also heavily tied to ARDD. So could you please tell me more? What motivated you to become the sponsor?
So we believe so much in bringing the people together and bringing the conversations, getting the people in the room, sharing the research, sharing the updates, and really working as a community. And although longevity science isn't new, it's still new-ish. And it really is important to bring together all of the people from different areas that are doing work. We get so caught up in our own research in our own areas that it's important to make sure we're sharing information and bringing people together. And as you mentioned, Dr. Evelyn Bischoff and obviously Alex Zavarenkov, those are our key founders. Those are the, our scientific advisors. Those are the leaders in this space. So it's a natural partnership that we would have. And then, of course, one of our founders from LongeVC is, Gary Zamansky, and he is absolutely at the forefront of all of the work that's being done. He's very successful in the angel investing space and the space of obviously the venture capitalist firm that's been wildly successful. So it really is just a natural partnership. And we're, everyone is being so supportive of the foundation as we continue to build and grow. And we want to make sure that we're being as supportive of the conference where the leaders are coming and to be part of that conversation.
And we are more than grateful for your support, but we also want to know how can we support you. So as a sponsor, what are you looking for specifically? You can even say egocentrically as a foundation. What do you want to see? What do you hope to get?
So it's really important for our foundation to make sure that people are aware of the foundation, to make sure that people are aware of the fact that we are continuously looking for donors and supporters, and that in order to get this funding, out into the researchers, we need to get the funding into the organization. So, the opportunity for people to partner with us, it's so uniquely different in the philanthropic space than obviously the investment space. At the end of the day, there's no successful exits out of a foundation. It's really just holistically donating and supporting us with the drive to get that money into the research. So it's really a different way of looking at it. But I think it's so incredibly important to remember to always keep talking about the nonprofit space and the philanthropic space in longevity. And I don't think we talk about that enough. We're so focused, obviously, successful, funds and successful startup companies and investing in those that make these therapeutics, and they're working on AI, integrations. We need to continue to talk about the importance of supporting the philanthropic arm of this as well as the business side.
Exactly. The philanthropy is one of the cornerstones that definitely deserves more spotlights. Mm-hmm. So could you please also tell me, because you keep highlighting, which is so valuable, that we need to bring people together, but especially today, it tends to get more mechanistic, as you mentioned, like once you have the pitch ready, you can't really get outside of the pitch. So how do you build trust and relationship rapport between the foundation and the companies?
So I think it's so incredibly important. And I think that's, your pitch point is something that continues to come up. And that's not actually words that we use a lot in philanthropic. We talk more about the relationships and what's our story and how we can come together. And it's really important for us to continue to be the convener of the people. And actually, the philanthropic space and the foundation can serve almost as a partner in all of that. We can bring in the prospects that potentially want to invest and the companies that have the products and kind of bring those people together into what, our safe space of, let me bring these people together. Let me convene this conversation. Let me make this connection with, oh, I had a conversation with you and I know that, you're looking for this. And I just talked to somebody last week that has that. So there's this different, because we're not in a competitive space where a lot of the startups are in a competitive space, looking for funders and looking to the same spaces to get the funding. We're in a unique space that we can be a friend to everyone, and we should be partnering with everyone.
Wow. Okay. So this is definitely a very unique approach, especially in the world of longevity biotech right now. but there must be for sure any qualities in the application or features that you specifically want to see. So let's say for anybody who is starting out in longevity, do you have any tips on how to build this application for Longevity Science Foundation to have the strongest chances to become one of your best friends, let's say?
So I think that most importantly, there's key tenets of proposals that we're always looking for. And it's really, really, really important to our foundation that any of the research we fund has to be available at the end of the day. If it becomes commercialized, or what the focal point of the research is it has to be available to everyone. There's enough people that have significant wealth that can invest and have their own, there's always this concept of it's the millionaire's playground in longevity. And people have said in the past, if you've got the money, you can invest in it. You can get your scientists, you can, fund your own research. We want to be the foundation that supports the research that's available to everyone. Everyone deserves to have a healthier life. Everyone deserves to have the ability to live longer. It shouldn't be just because you have wealth, you have this leg up in this space. And that's really important to us. My background, I started in the philanthropic space as a grassroots fundraiser. I believe in, community access for all. So it's really important for our foundation. And that was one of the tenets that the founders created when they started the foundation, is that research has to be available to everyone. And, we need to continue to make sure that that's a priority that we're always looking at. So, and it has to be something we want to fund that's going to turn around and be able to move forward in about 36 to 48 months. It doesn't help the quick movement of this field if we're funding something that's not going to have outcomes for, 7 or 10 years. We really want something that's going to be, have really good outcomes and movement in the next few years.
That's such a good goal, because I noticed that we do talk a lot about longevity, but we need more actual doing. And ARDD is one of the conferences you can actually show the case studies and real examples of how the needle is being moved forward.
Absolutely. And it's important because we need to continue to remember that that's what we're doing. We need to continue to move forward in the work we're doing.
Exactly. So please tell me, are there any specific paths that you see the longevity field moving forward?
So I think it's interesting as the conversations continue to come up. And I think that one that I'm hearing a lot of, I guess, more conversations on is in women's health. And I think that that's going to be an important. I love that there's so many amazing female leaders. I mean, we have Dr. Andrea Meyer, we have Dr. Evelyn Bischoff on our scientific advisory board. So we've got the female leaders in this space. But I think a lot of people in the conversations I'm having are starting to ask the question of, where are we with women's health, and where are we with, menopause studies and those types of things. And I think that as we continue to look at the field and the key components of what is impacting our health span and our lifespan, that those are going to continue to be key indicators that come up, which, as a, mid-50s, year old woman, I'm living this, I'm obsessed with it, I'm reading about it, and people are talking about it more so than I think they ever did. And I think that that's going to continue, because anything that we're dealing with women's health in menopause has an impact on the culture that they're living with. It has an impact on their health, which in turn has an impact, of course, on their mental health, and then, of course, on their productivity at work. And I think the corporate sector is really starting to engage in these conversations about the impact that health span and lifespan can have on the corporate bottom line. What's the best thing for corporate culture, and how can we help and support our organizational employees more? So I think that's going to be a shift that you're going to hear a lot more about.
Exactly. It's definitely becoming a hot topic, and we could even say finally, because, well, it's been way too long.
I agree.
This topic being in the shadows.
Just like, oh, it's supposed to happen to women. It's fine. It's just what happens.
Exactly. Well, we could say that not anymore, and perhaps we could say the same thing about aging in a couple of years. That's good.
That's right.
Fingers crossed for this.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. Exactly. So, well, thank you so much for this interview. It was so insightful. I really can't believe how happy we are to have you as a sponsor, and can't wait to see you at ARDD in a little bit over than a month.
Yes, I know. It's coming quickly. Absolutely. But no, it's been lovely to talk with you. Thank you for all the great work that you're doing. And I am excited to be in Copenhagen and see everyone and get to, again, another whole amazing conference. It's going to be great.
It's going to be amazing. So if you haven't signed up yet, for everybody who's watching this, please go to agingpharma.org. You can find the sign up registration there, and we can't wait to see you on place in Copenhagen.